Welcome to the Joy of Collecting. We've got some pieces for you today. These are things that have come in over the last month or two. Some arrived today, and I thought I need to make a video, show some of these things. Got several Hall of Famers, a few non-Hall of Famers, but just pieces that I was interested in and got for a good deal. First up is a Hall of Famer, Jim Kaat, Hall of Fame pitcher, 283 or so wins, and what's interesting is he never played for Cincinnati, but he was Cincinnati's pitching coach for part of 1984 and all of 1985, and apparently that's when that picture was taken. So Jim Kaat in a Cincinnati uniform, Hall of Famer. All right, let's see where we go next. Let's go with the card here. This is a card I picked up. Now, I already have a Bob Gibson autograph, but this is one of the Fleer greats of the game, and I like these. Very good looking cards, nice clean autograph. This was obviously before his health started deteriorating. Nice, smooth, clean signature. So I'm excited to add that to my collection. I don't know if that's going to stand up there or not. There we go. All right, where to next? Next we have this baseball. This is autographed by Warren Spahn. And if my background comes crashing down, it's because my wife is at the other end of the table, shaking the table. So it's not an earthquake, it's just a table shaking going on. So we got Bob Gibson, Jim Kaat, Warren Spahn, Hall of Fame pitchers. Let's continue that. We have Dennis Eckersley. And a nice Dennis Eckersley ball to add to the collection. I had a Dennis Eckersley autograph, and I traded it off. It was a card that I pulled out of a pack, and I traded it off. Let's continue on. We got one more Hall of Fame pitcher here. And let's just get this out of the box. And we have got, turn this around and figure out which way it goes. There we go. We've got Gaylord Perry. So pretty good run of Hall of Fame pitchers here. Warren Spahn, Gaylord Perry, Jim Kaat, Dennis Eckersley, and Bob Gibson. Very, very nice. Now we've got a Hall of Fame position player. This is Hall of Famer Willie Stargell. Pirates great. Good looking ball right there. Now I have to pull this out. This is something I got a while back, and I don't think I ever showed you. But this is a bat. I'm just going to bring this around here. I may have showed this already, I can't remember, but this is also signed by Willie Stargell and Bill Mazeroski, and it's a Nabisco MVP bat. I've not seen one of these, but this is actually a metal, hear that? Little metal plate that's glued on there. But that's a nice piece. Picked that up real cheap. And happy to have it with those two Hall of Fame sluggers on there. So anyway, excited about that. Now let's get into some non-Hall of Famers. This guy was probably on a Hall of Fame trajectory, just his career didn't last long enough, but certainly one of the most feared sluggers of the early 90s, early and mid 90s, and that's Juan Gonzalez. Played for the Texas Rangers and was just a really, really good hitter. I also have a Juan Gonzalez signed bat that I featured on the channel a while back. So happy to add that ball to the collection. Now, I've got some more Hall of Famers coming, but I've got some non-Hall of Famers here. This is a player. I grew up as a St. Louis Cardinals fan. I've said that before on the channel. My mother and I used to listen to St. Louis Cardinals baseball on the radio, and this was came up as a prospect with the Cardinals and ended up having a pretty good career. Started out as a catcher and may have played some other positions, but that is Todd Zeile. Todd Zeile. He came up in the early 90s with the Cardinals. Now, another player is one of my favorite players, had a ton of potential, and I remember seeing the game. I believe it was a playoff game or getting close to the playoffs, and where he just fell apart, had the yips, and was throwing the ball to the backstop and just fell apart. It was sad, but he actually came back as a position player and became a great outfielder, good hitter, and had a pretty decent career. And that is Rick Ankiel. So I'm excited to add this Rick Ankiel ball to my collection. Now he was a terrific athlete to be able to be a highly touted pitching prospect, and then to be able to come back and be a good Major League Baseball player. So terrific athlete. All right, so last piece. This has a mixture of Hall of Famers and non-Hall of Famers. So let's first start here. This is an official ball of the 1987 World Series, and here is the World Series logo. Now, the Cardinals played in the 87 World Series. Who did they play in 87? Was it the Twins, Minnesota? They lost, I believe, that year, but they were in the 87 World Series. And this is signed by a mixture of players from the team. And so I'll just start here. The first signature is Joe McGrain, who was a pitcher with the Cardinals. Then you have Rod Booker, who was a player with the Cardinals, certainly not a star. Joe McGrain was a starting pitcher, had a few good years with the Cardinals, but Rod Booker, he was a decent player. Then you have Rex Hudler, had a pretty decent lengthy career. Played for the Cardinals, I think the Mets, maybe a few others. But there are also players on here who were retired in 1987. And on the sweet spot, you have Red Shanedeist, who's a Hall of Famer, and he was a coach or, an ambassador for the Cardinals. He was, around the team for most of his life after his playing career ended. Then you come on around this way, and you have Enos Slaughter, who's also a Hall of Famer, played several years for the Cardinals. Now, I could not identify these two signatures, so I posted pictures on a Facebook group that's just identify baseball autograph signatures, I think is the name of it, something like that. So they said this was Kurt Ford, who was just a bench player for the Cardinals for a few years, and Omar Olivares. Now, Omar Oliveras did not play for the Cardinals in 1987. He did not start playing, I think, until around 1990. So I'm guessing this was probably signed at like a homecoming event or spring training, possibly, where all of these people would have been there. Or maybe the blue signatures were at one time and the signatures in black were added at a different time. But Kurt Ford would fit. Omar Oliveras, he was not around playing. He's probably in the minors in 1987. The last couple of signatures, here you have Al Raboski, who's been associated with the Cardinals for decades, and Kurt Flood. And Kurt Flood was a good player, not a Hall of Famer. He could possibly be a Hall of Famer. There's some push to get him in because of the work that he did with players and free agency. They have what they call the Kurt Flood rule, which guarantees if a player has been with a team for so many years, they're able to reject any trades. It gives them trade protection after so many years of service. So anyway, just a good mix of St. Louis Cardinals players, from bench players all the way up to Hall of Famers. Now, would I have liked this better if it had Vince Coleman and Willie McGee and Ozzie Smith and Jack Clark and some of those guys on here? Yeah, that'd have been great. But I'm happy to get it. It's a neat ball. It's a neat piece. And it does have some Hall of Famers on there. And I'm excited to add it to my collection. So I do have some more things coming in over the next little bit. Some pretty good, interesting pieces. And I've got a mystery box coming in that's going to have a signed ball. And it could potentially be anything from, just from a good player all the way up to some of the greatest players that ever played. So be interesting to see what comes in with that. But anyway, so there you have it. There's catching you all up. Well, I take that back. I missed something. It's in a box behind me, and I saw it out of the corner of my eye as I was just about to end the video. So this is the most recent Hall of Fame inductee. And this is a replica helmet. And that is a Schwartz Sports memorabilia sticker on the back. And this is signed by Dave Parker. Dave Parker had a great career with the Pirates. And he has just been elected to the Hall of Fame. And so I saw an opportunity to pick this up and add his autograph to my collection. And so I did that. Got a great deal on it. And I'm excited that he made the Hall of Fame. He was he was one of the stars when I first started collecting baseball cards and getting interested in baseball. And I'm excited that he has made it to the Hall of Fame. So there it is. What do you think? What do you think about the pieces that I've added? Some great players, some that are more sentimental value to me than dollar value. Some of them just players I never saw play, but don't know much about them, like Jim Cott. But he's in the Hall of Fame, and I wanted to add him to my collection. So, well, that's what we've got for today. I appreciate any likes or comments, or maybe one of these guys is your favorite player, or you've got a memory or something. I'd be happy if you shared that. But until next time, thank you for joining me on The Joy of Collecting.